Bro, some clips don't just feel creepy. They feel like they're pointing at something way darker behind the scenes. Come on, man. Today, we're getting into reptilian theories, Adrenochrome, and Ryan Garcia saying he saw aliens. This is Brosky Ray. Let's go!
Disclaimer. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
In the Middle Ages, people believed a stone could make you think more clearly. In the 12th century, the thinker Hildegard of Bingen wrote a book called Physica in which she describes the powers of stones. She writes about the agate as a stone that sharpens the mind. Her advice is simple. Keep the stone close to your skin so it warms with your body. According to Hildegard, this would make the person more clear-headed, more thoughtful, and more careful about what they say. Because, she explains, the agate is formed from water, fire, and air.
We see
Sounds like a witchcraft to me.
the Epstein files, right? How could humans consume other humans? It's not humans doing this to other humans. It's reptilians. It is an off-world species. When I think about cosmic disclosure, I think about Justin Bieber being on stage in front of hundreds of thousands of people, all with their phones in the air, recording him, and him just shape-shifting into a giant reptilian. For me, that's real disclosure.
I remember that picture.
And the second we wake up to that is the second that everything changes. And then we call into question every single celebrity or politician. Are they a part of that group? And if so, what do we do about it? It's not a humans versus humans battle here. We're talking about a human versus non-human entity situation. And I think that that in and of itself is a problem that we could all get behind.
Can we all agree that Ryan Garcia seen a lot of shit that he was not supposed to see in his lifetime? This man has said numerous times that he's seen aliens, and people don't believe him. Look at this shit, though.
Wait, have you ever seen aliens before?
Yes.
Bro, mind you, we taking a lot to
Okay, how did you see the aliens?
Oh, man. It was in a sleep paralysis state, and it was watching my body.
Listen.
He believes that to be true.
Now, remember when he was about to fight Devin Haney? And he was just blurting shit out, and people was like, Ryan tripping. Ryan crazy. Before the Epstein file shit, Ryan Garcia was trying to expose the elites. So much so that people tried to silence him. People tried to say, oh, he was on meds. Oh, he crazy. Oh, he just doing it for the fight. Now, while he's taking a lie detector test, he said he's seen aliens, which he said he's seen before. This man said it happened while he was having sleep paralysis. And y'all don't believe him? But this is typically how shit goes. Y'all go down rabbit holes after rabbit holes after rabbit holes. But when people are telling you the truth, you don't believe them. Ryan Garcia seen some shit. Ryan Garcia knows some things, and that's why they be trying to keep this man quiet. Y'all remember what he said about the elites, right? Y'all remember what he said about that place they go to, right? And y'all remember who he said was at that place they go to, right? Yeah, okay. I'm out.
Oh, remember the CIA was doing stuff in sleep paralysis?
This is fucking insane. Listen to this very, very carefully.
For the hottest new super drug that makes you effortlessly beautiful.
I got the beauty shot!
Is this real life? One simple injection to become a beauty. This is the closest to the fountain of youth anyone's ever gonna get.
You said you self-care. What do? Do you, like, how do you get this body?
Everything. I'm big on NMN. I've been taking them for a year now. I saw Dr. David Sinclair speak at the Wonder Conference and talk about all of the anti-aging stuff that he does. And he was really big on NMN.
I'm not going to lie. I was very skeptical after watching that at first. So I ended up going down a full-blown deep dive on this NMN stuff for myself. And that's when I came across David Sinclair, the Harvard biologist she was just talking about, and just listened to what he had to say about NMN.
What is NMN? Good question. So let me take a quick step back.
Sure.
If you don't have NAD in your body, you'd be dead in about 30 seconds. It's a really important molecule. But as we get older, we lose NAD. So by the time you're 50, like I almost am, you have about half the levels of what you had when you were 20. So that's not good. And these sirtuins, they don't protect the body without high levels of NAD. So what NMN does, boost the body's levels of NAD back up to youthful levels again.
Of the people that I know that look freakishly and unusually young for their age, that I have met in, say, the last 36 months,
I cannot get over how many of them have told me that I'm on NAD. And I'm talking about visually, shockingly looking young people.
Now, like they were saying, our body naturally produces NAD, but once we hit our 30s, that's when our NAD levels start to plummet. And having low NAD levels is exactly what triggers the aging process in our body. But by supplementing with NMN and bringing back those NAD levels, it can be really helpful for things like those deep lines and wrinkles, those aching bones and joints, that brain fog and those mental slip-ups, and even with things like your body's ability to recover faster and making it easier to cut down on those pant sizes. Now, if you want to know exactly how much NMN you need to take in order to raise your NAD levels, just listen to what the same biologist from before had to say about this.
Scientific evidence points to taking a supplement every day, a gram of NMN, just swallowing one of those, or 1,000 milligrams, is enough to double your NAD levels in the bloodstream.
So this is the one I've been taking from Catacor. Not only do these guys have like 400,000 orders and a ton of fire.
They are using Adrenochrome.
5,000 people, but not a single one saw the man in white until the film was developed. 1990, Sofia, Bulgaria, Danny Murray, and a team from Lee University were leading a massive revival when the impossible happened. A woman blind from birth suddenly screamed. She could see the color of a singer's tie, and you could see people cheer. But the real shock came later. On the master VHS tape, a tall figure in a white robe stands perfectly still. But no one spoke to him. No one remembers seeing him. These footages weren't doctored, but there are no credible agency reports to confirm this. We did some digging. Lee University is an educational university, and they maintained a "we make no claims" stance. The healed woman requested anonymity, but the witnesses who knew her confirmed that she did get her eyesight back for good, and she continues to be an active church member. Another thing to know is that in 1990, the Bulgarian press was in a state of total collapse and reorganization following the revolution. Secular reporters in Sofia were busy covering the first free elections and the collapse of the Soviet influence. A thorough investigation at the time would have shed genuine light on these happenings. The story was finally broken by the Church of God Evangel in the USA in early 1991. So it's for you to decide what you just see. Was it a divine visitation or a holy mystery?
Okay, hold the actual phone here. You're not going to believe this. Artemis 2 traveled 42 minutes and 50 seconds over the dark side of the moon. Official numbers. Of course, we know they didn't, but that's what they're saying. Did you know Pink Floyd's album, Dark Side of the Moon, runs for 42 to 43 minutes? The exact same time that they say they traveled around the dark side of the moon. The odds of this happening are astronomical. It really points towards this whole thing being organized. Definitely didn't do this, to pay homage to the dark side of the moon, but in fact, probably to hide in plain sight, telling you what's really going on, which is that they did not go over there, man. But I can tell you, if this shocked you, and, Artemis 2, the whole situation with it, and the release of the files blew your mind, wait until you find out what they're doing with the
holiest site in Christianity. There's an object so dangerous to move, it could trigger a crisis between 6 ancient churches. It's a wooden ladder in Jerusalem that hasn't moved in over 250 years. It's been stolen, returned, shifted, and always ends up back in the exact same place.
Wow.
No one knows who put it there, and no one dares to touch it. Click the link to hear the whole story. Follow for more mysteries hidden in plain sight.
Interesting. I never heard that.
All this time, this was hidden from us. Watch this clip and let me know if this is real.
Concealed for centuries. The real purpose of the Eiffel Tower is something far beyond what you've been told. Most people believe it's nothing more than a symbol of Parisian culture or a product of the industrial era. The truth? The Eiffel Tower was designed as a massive antenna, an instrument for wireless electricity experiments, and its secrets could have revolutionized
Might be true.
The year was 1889, and the tower was unveiled at the Paris World's Fair, touted as a temporary exhibit. But here's where it gets strange. The true intent behind this engineering marvel was hidden in plain sight. Nikola Tesla visited Paris in the 1880s. During his stay,
That is also true.
Gustav Eiffel, and shared his groundbreaking vision for a world powered by free wireless energy. Tesla had already proven with his Warden Cliff Tower that electricity could be transmitted wirelessly across...
This is the truth that Tesla was researching something like wireless electricity, and he was very near to it.
...vast distances. Eiffel, utterly fascinated by Kessler's revolutionary ideas, took these principles and incorporated them into the design of the Eiffel Tower. This was not just about aesthetics. This was about power, real power. During the tower's construction, strange phenomena were reported. Electromagnetic anomalies, unexplained lights, and strange sparks were seen surrounding the tower. Locals spoke of nighttime experiments, and some even claimed to have witnessed orbs of light dancing around the structure. Why hasn't this been exposed?
I believe it's an antenna for free energy. 100%.
This may surprise you. The Loch Ness Monster is back. The first two sightings of 2026 in Loch Ness happened within days of each other. What happened on March 1st in person and March 5th via webcam would have never been reported if Nessie wasn't the world's second most famous monster. Visiting U.S. tourist Tony Inhorn reports the first in-person sighting from a boat at 10:30 a.m. from 15 feet away. He saw a large, dark greenish gray body, roughly 5 to 10 feet long, that rose 2 feet out of the water near the opening of the Caledonian Canal. The second sighting of the year came via the Visit Inverness Loch Ness webcam 200 yards from the famous Klansman Hotel Pier at 5:20 p.m. when Owen Fagan spotted a mysterious shape that broke the surface 4 times while moving against the current. Follow if you want stories that shape the cryptozoological landscape. I'm RPG. Yeah, you know me.
I need about 350. Aha.
So here's Donald Trump meeting Japan's new Prime Minister, and take a look at the symbolism. This is the Freemasonic Royal Arch. Checkerboard floor, 2 pillars and an archway. Checkerboard floor, 2 pillars and an archway. People are ignorant if they don't understand this. They're showing you they are occultists. That does not mean they're inherently evil. It just means they study the occult. They study the hidden, unseen aspects of the human psyche and the human consciousness. These people are very intellectual. Now, it's up to them how they use this knowledge. Do they conceal it and use it against others, or do they use this knowledge to uplift people? You can decide for yourself how they use this knowledge, but they're basically showing you that they are initiated into a secret society or an occult school. You know, Book of Symbolism comes November 17th. You'll learn all about this.
Think about GTA 6, the game that's about to come out, right? They're saying that game is going to be so realistic. You'll be able to live in it, earn money. It's over 700 buildings that you can go into.
Yeah, it's over. They're going to make us live in that game.
It's AI in that game.
No, I already know people are not going to leave their couch. Like, I think it's going to be like that movie, The Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Where people are going to just straight up like be on it all the time.
I've been saying it and saying it. Transhumanism is the next phase.
I'll be one of the hippies in the woods.
Yeah, I'm still with you. We'll start a little community out there.
How do we know? Yeah. How do we know that this isn't a computer simulation? It's so realistic and everything is programmed to a way, but how do we know what's the difference? Because AI at this point,
that's what I was going to say.
It's only getting better. It's the worst it'll ever be right now.
Like, how is AI a thing?
No, I know.
Think about how weird this is. How is it that realistic? So that kind of does give credence to it. Kind of weird.
I'm telling you.
I have this theory sometimes too, where like I have the most futuristic dreams. In my dreams,
we gotta just see what's up with your dreams.
I have crazy dreams.
We gotta just wait for her dreams.
No, I'm telling you, they're
telling
crazy.
The future.
If they create some sort of thing where you could see my dreams, they're interesting. I feel like I could sell them. But like, I have so many futuristic dreams that I'm in like some futuristic city. And then I started to have this idea. I was like, what if my dream is like the real world I'm living in? And this is like some little program where it's like, I go to rest and have a more chill life back in like the old days or something.
Let's watch this. Like, AI is so crazy. Hey, what's up?
Not much. Just here, ready to chat. AI is kind of wild, right? Like, here I am, pretending to sip coffee while I answer you.
How did she even know that? How did she know that we were talking about AI?
Wait, what?
I didn't even say anything yet. Here's the thing. So I'm sitting here with Chanel West Coast. What do you know about her?
Haha, dude, that's wild. She probably overheard or just guessed from the vibe. Anyway, Chanel West Coast? Yeah, she's that fun, bubbly rapper and TV star. Real name, Chelsea Dutt, born in '88. She blew up co-hosting Ridiculous on MTV for like 30 seasons with Rob Dyrdek and Steele, just laughing at viral videos. She's got a daughter named Bowie with her guy Dom, and she's been dropping tracks forever. Still super active on Insta, posting glamorous pics and New Year's performances.
Well, I'm talking to her right now. We're actually doing
She
a
made me-
podcast. We're chilling right now, so she can actually hear you.
Oh my gosh. Hi, Chanel. Hope I didn't butcher anything back there. Like, I swear I wasn't stalking your IG. Promise.
This shit is crazy, bro. Come on.
I'm getting
Oh,
scared.
I love her. She's great. She made what you read on Google sound so much better.
It's just crazy though, like how intuitive it is, because before I even said anything, I already knew we were talking about AI. It's always listening. I always say AI, as you're learning from AI, it's learning from you because you're always feeding it information. So when you're, hey,
We're teaching our replacements.
Yes, AI is going to affect 85 million jobs in the next 3 years.
Well, I also think that AI is going to make, like, a lot of people think that that's why Mad Max is very realistic, because AI takes so much water to keep it running.
Right.
And people joke that
yeah,
one day
yeah.
we're going to just have all these robots and all this AI and the world's going to be a desert because they're going to suck up all the water just to run it.
Fact, AI is learning from us rapidly. We're the product, folks.
Ptah, in many ways, fits the model of a figure that came from a higher layer of creation, manifested in this world, and, according to the ancient Egyptians, was the god that fashioned the human body. According to the ancient Egyptians, before this statue is placed in Tutankhamun's tomb, the ancient Egyptians had a belief that this was in fact a living statue. What that means is that the spiritual essence, the vibration, if you will, to use a contemporary term, of Ptah was infused into that statue. There are actually living representations of this being that came from a higher layer and had a hand in fashioning the human body.
Satanic spirit cookie witch Marina Abramovich now says that Donald Trump is the best thing that's happened for witches and warlocks because he is a magician of the highest order.
The Trump is the best thing happened ever to us. Because she believed, not her, but the entire, population of this Nordic magician, that he is the magician of the highest order. That he is there in his irrational mind to create confusion in order that the human being can find new order. And it's not so stupid thinking about this in that way. It's completely turning things upside down. Because since Trump is around, things are changing.
Trump's Truth Social post is starting to make a lot more sense now, isn't it? Again, guys, like I said, they have to show us what they're doing beforehand. It's a part of their Kabbalic rituals that they do. In order for us to be fully deceived by it, they have to show it to us first so that they can say, oh, I showed them my fruits. They're the ones who didn't realize it. This is why it's so crucial and why I always talk about having a real relationship with Christ Jesus, because we will not be deceived by these fools anymore.
Have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them.
Let me know how you feel about this in the comment.
As he's setting up a new world order, and the petrodollar system is the capitalistic satanic control arm of the new world order that's built up, right? So as this new world order's here, those are the old world, and are scared of the new world, are bump. All right. So, and that's part of that neck and that kind of thing. And that's where they can never go up anymore. And the oil has risen up so much and it's brought them down and those things. So, and then the oil doesn't mix with water, and Jesus brings the water, and they don't follow the man with the pitcher of water. The water's the currency, and they're already left out on the currency and all those other things. So that's tied to your flood for your Noah and the 8. And either way, so this is where the NWO, the Christian nationalism, all these things, Don's setting up lights, and as he's setting up lights, the people are going to the old one in a way, and they're being turned off by the new one. So it's all working according to what we're being shown. And then they're having their oh shit moment. I told you it would be coming for the second coming. And then the replacement, I see JD Vance, the No Kings JV. J.D. Vance and that stuff. So that's your junior varsity years, your freshman. And that's where you got your Antichrist stacks, where you have person coming in out of nowhere and then out of nowhere. And then the replacement, if J.D. Vance is going to be the NKJV dude, and then, you can have him set it up here, and then you can have the other still, if they decide to impeach him too, and then the other person comes in, and it just works it into where that Petro NWO system all comes in for the capture and those things. But if for the shortening of days and for the elect sake and the sake for the Japan shake today, and you got your sake bombs with your Jägermeister. I think that's what goes in it. It's been
I don't follow.
decades since I've had one of them. Either way, folks, that's the rice wine, the ice wine, the ice wind, and those types of things is playing out. And the wines, the grape, the rape juice for the narcissism going on, the Nazism in America.
What is he talking about? I don't follow.
Okay, I like fun. Roller coaster? What is it, Six Flags? What is it? Where are we at? Not a roller coaster. That is a bridge in Germany in 1887. That don't fit. Oh, Portland, Oregon. Look how cute it is.
That's a cool bridge.
Let's go a little forward. 1885. What is it? What is that? It says it right there. It says high school. It says high school, guys. Guys! That doesn't fit at all. Fort Pulaski, Savannah, Georgia. What's the history? What's the history on this? Fort Pulaski was built in 18 years, frequently stopping because of Georgia summers. Okay. 25 million bricks. In 1847, it was built for 147 guns, although they used no more than 30. What did the workers think that did 25 million bricks? Built 147 holes just to pew-pew out of it like this, and they only used 30. What did they think about that? This photo says it all. That doesn't. This photo says it all. Look at them just lounging. They're just lounging up there. 25 million bricks, and they have like 7 people in the fort. I mean, the dress doesn't, I'm not going to say it. She looks scary. The 1911 Wanamaker department store in Philadelphia. Do you see something? It's a department store. Do you see something? It had, and still has, the largest fully functioning organ in the world. 28,000 pipes. That don't fit. I'll just think of this photo sometimes and just stare at it. Just look at Chicago City Hall. Just stare at it.
Magnificent.
This guy's chestnut stand doesn't fit. Neither do the horse and buggies, but just look at it.
History is a set of lies agreed upon. I forgot who said that.
You actually interviewed Elon's old babysitter, Rosemary, and she had some interesting things to say.
She claims that Elon's family is kind of interconnected with a lot of dark occult things going on, and that Elon's original name was El Elyon. It means essentially the Lord Most High or something like that. She's made the claim that Elon was going to be the guy that introduced the Mark of the Beast to the world. That was his ultimate destiny. And sure enough, I mean, he's involved in doing things like Neuralink and stuff like that. So she tried to get the word out that, you know, this guy is not on the up and up with these things, that there's evil occult ties to all of it. She also claimed that Elon's grandfather faked his death and was alive well into the 1980s. It's interesting to hear what she has to say, and there's a lot of people that believe what she says to be true, and I have no reason to disbelieve that she's sincere about what she's saying. She truly believes what she claims. It's not the first time she's made these claims. She hasn't gotten a lot of exposure.
Okay.
In the 15th century, Hermeticism is widely practiced. In fact, the early origins of Christianity was based on Hermeticism, and it was being practiced all around the ancient world. In fact, Constantinople was the center of the ancient world at that time. Constantinople became a place where you couldn't freely practice those things any longer. So what happened? They all migrated to one place, Florence, Italy. Florence, Italy becomes the center of the intellectual world. Why? Because Hermeticism is brought there. So what happens? Da Vinci learns everything about it. So he paints very very clever things to protect this knowledge. Not only is the table a T, but you have the 3 doors in the back with the middle door being the biggest right behind Jesus. Same concept. And then if you get into the idea that man is like the cosmos with the Vitruvian man, and it is the T, you start to see this relationship that is not separate between us and the cosmos at all. And that they understood that we're actually a fundamental part of the expression of the entire universe itself.
America's biggest retailers rolling out digital shelf price labels for all its stores by the end of the year. Walmart says that having digital price labels will help its store personnel do...
Yeah, you heard that right. So there are digital price tags that Walmart is fully rolling out by 2027. Now, what does this mean? Well, for one, this actually means any price on any product can be changed at the drop of a hat due to demand. Not to mention the fact that Walmart actually has a patent, actually numerous patents, on AI-powered price changes where AI is fully running the system. I mean, for example, a loaf of bread can be $4 or $5. You turn around to get something else, you turn back, it's $8. Now, let's take a look at some of these patents, shall we? So, like this one says, covers a system and method for dynamically and automatically updating an item's price on an e-commerce platform, which we know now is not only going to be e-commerce, but it's going to be for in-stores. Now, this one's a big one. This one says, involves machine learning to forecast demand for items and recommends prices. It even incorporates factors like purchase history, payment methods, customer identifiers, and even third-party data. And obviously this is awarded by the U.S. Patents and Trademark Office, which is the government, and it's actually bringing up a lot of concerns. It says people are worried about the future of dynamic pricing and so-called surveillance pricing. This sounds eerily similar to carbon credits like they have in the UK. Just like this company is tracking carbon credits, Carbon Neutral Britain. What are carbon credits, you ask? Well, they actually track everything you do and buy, like when you buy food, gas, water, eggs, milk, whatever it is, to see how much of a carbon footprint it actually takes to get those things. Now, they're worried about climate change, and they're saying the increased carbon dioxide and greenhouse gases are the planet's biggest worry. Is it? Oh, you mean the very thing that we breathe out, carbon dioxide, and that's oxygen for the trees in which they exchange oxygen for us to breathe. And healthy ecosystem. That thing? Also, it's pretty odd that Elon just tweeted this because he's really pushing this universal high income in which the government becomes your daddy, you sit on your ass all day, and they give you a check due to the unemployment caused by AI. You mean your AI who's actually causing the unemployment, only to give everybody a check, which is fancy food stamps because universal basic income sounds too basic, so high income sounds better. And the fact that they want to give you free money is already a red flag. Then not only to take that government assisted money, go spend it where they have digital price tags so they can track your carbon footprint. You see where this is going? Yes, we know the problem, so I do have solutions. So make sure you guys hit up my link tree for that class I'm doing soon and go to maverickapproach.com and let me know what you guys think below.
That is crazy.
He was a nobody until one song changed everything. In the late 1950s, Lucien DeVille played in empty bars around Memphis. No talent, no audience, no future. Then in 1958, he released a track called Mad Night Promise, and overnight, it spread everywhere. People couldn't stop listening. They said the melody felt wrong, like it pulled you back in. His fame exploded too fast to explain. But in 1962, a studio technician noticed something hidden in the recordings. A second voice, deeper, buried beneath his own. When the tape was reversed, it wasn't noise. It was clear, calm, unsettling. Slowed down, it sounded like a ritual. Later, journalists discovered he had bought an ancient book a year before his rise. One rumored to describe ways to hide messages inside music. Then, in 1964, during a live performance, Lucien suddenly stopped mid-song, turned his back to the crowd, and walked off stage. He was never seen again.
The Vatican called this book witchcraft. They were wrong. It's a manual. This is the Codex Borgia, 76 pages of deerskin, a sacred calendar that governed everything: when to plant, when to fight, when to be born, and when to die. Every single day had a name, a number, and a god. Not as metaphor, as operational reality. The priests who read this book didn't worship it. They used it, the way a navigator uses a chart. It survived the conquest. Nobody knows exactly how it reached Italy, only that it did. The same institution that once called it witchcraft now preserves it. The Vatican. Watch the full documentary on YouTube now, link in bio.
Interesting.
You won't find this anywhere else. Books to watch. Follow for more.
My dad was a Black Panther, but, when Disney makes Black Panther, now when you look it up, you don't see my dad protecting his neighborhood. You see this character that's made for Black people to idolize that was designed by a white person and put out by a white company. So it's controlling the narrative to say, we're going to show you Harriet Tubman, we're not going to show you Nat Turner. And they do it every chance they get. Maleficent, they called her race of people the Moors. And the Moors are, and I just saw it again. I was just like, yo, if you erase our history, most Black people, we think we came from slaves. We don't know our bloodline. And we're given Black History Month and we take that like it's some gift to us. No, it's a programming to us, because also what they show in Black History Month is us getting hosed down, reminding us that we were slaves. Like, what if we had, remember when I cheated on you month? Remember when you first found the text messages? How does that make you feel? It makes you feel depleted and defeated.
Video is for entertainment purposes only. Years ago, like many decades ago, when I was a boy, I used to have nightmares. And I would wake up, usually when I had a fever, I would wake up and I would see the hag in the corner of the room. This old woman kind of hunched over like this, kind of sitting in the chair, and she was mumbling something. It scared the crap out of me, absolutely terrified me. And I would yell and scream. I mean, I'm probably like 7, 8, 9 years old at the oldest, terrified, absolutely terrified. These things are real. These things are real. And they manifest to you and to me. They manifest. And yet the church never talks about this stuff. Why? Good question. I don't know. But we need a safe place where people can go and talk about the experiences they're having and get deliverance, get prayed over, get set free. I am Ellie Marzulli.
Similar experience here. Never forgot it either. Don't forget to pray before you sleep, folks.
Alright, so apparently this was just like happening over a week ago in San Francisco, and clearly it wasn't being talked about enough because I didn't even know about it. So if you were out on a casual stroll in San Francisco, you could have seen Elon Musk's face on a robot dog just walk right past you. Not a joke, not AI generated. This actually happened last week, and I'm just going to pop up multiple pictures throughout this entire video so you can check it out. So Artist People, the same guy behind this $69 million NFT, teamed up with mask makers and put hyper-realistic Elon heads onto Unitree robot dogs. I keep saying these were just Elon dogs, but they had a Zuckerberg version, Bezos version. They had multiple versions of these hyper-realistic robo-dogs. And they took these dogs out for a walk to promote Beeple's new exhibition. You gotta look up some of these videos because these robo-dogs think they run the city. They're staring at pedestrians, they're sniffing around, and they're straight up confusing actual dogs who don't know whether they should bark or play. In one of the videos, I saw a robo-dog bump into a real dog, and let me tell you, the real dog looked traumatized, so I don't know if they're a fan of this prank. I don't know, tech billionaires as robo-pets and pure robotic chaos in the streets of San Francisco sounds like it should have been a bigger story than it was. I don't know, you tell me, maybe I'm the only one who's 12 days late to the story, but I still feel like it wasn't talked about enough. Anyway, those robo-dogs are quite creepy, but they're also pretty hilarious, but I'd love to know what you thought about this stunt, and I would really like to know what Elon thinks when he opens up his X timeline and sees a hyper-realistic version of his face on a robo-dog just roaming the streets of San Francisco.
Y'all want some comedy entertainment? Well, let's pay homage to an OG of our kind, Trevor Moore, who randomly fell off of his balcony in 2021 and passed in his 40s, as you can see here. And of course he did, because what content did he make? Well, here's a couple clips. Enjoy.
Some sort of intergalactic drug cartel.
Just a thought, more of a shot in the dark, but we wouldn't happen to be invading Iran today, would we?
You got me.
I fell for it. You almost got away with that one.
No, I went too far. I almost had it. I should have stopped after the slides.
I asked a lot about conspiracy stuff. Do you believe in any conspiracy theories?
Help me. My parents sold me to a big producer.
This is wild.
In the record industry, he makes me do things that I don't want to do. Please call child services. Or maybe SVU. I just can't take no more rich kids' bar mitzvahs or paid sleepovers with Saudi princes.
Do you believe in any
This is probably the most realistic depiction of Jesus that has ever been painted. And what's crazy is that it was painted by a woman that was being haunted by something supernatural. But before we get into this video, my name is Mr. Turrentine, and all I do is study the world's greatest miracles and bring them to you in story format. So, if you like that kind of thing, follow the page and let's get right into it. In 1905, in a small village in Poland, a woman by the name of Helena Kowalska was trying to get some sleep, but for some reason, as she was laying in her bed, she just felt this feeling like she wasn't alone. Very quickly, that feeling began to escalate. You see, Helena was a regular person living in this type of group home with a bunch of other people, and they were very prude people. They didn't really believe in anything evil or anything supernatural. And Helena, being one of 10 kids in her family, she didn't really think she was special or anything like that. So with that being said, she just laid on her bed and tried to ignore that feeling to get some sleep. But as she was lying there, that feeling just began to get stronger and stronger, till eventually she hears a footstep right next to her door. She immediately opens her eyes, she looks to the side, and there is this massive figure that towered over her. This figure dressed in this white, almost transparent light, and as soon as she sees this, she freaks out. She closes her eyes and she does the only thing that she can think of. She starts to pray. But as soon as she did, she started to hear this voice, and she could not do anything about it. And a few minutes later, seemingly the prayer did work, because this figure disappeared. So when it does, she immediately sits up in her bed, she turns to the left, and she grabs her journal, and she starts writing every single word that she said, because she knew that this figure, it had asked her to do something, and it was something that she must do. And if she didn't, who knows what would happen. You see, this voice made a request to this woman. He said, "You will paint the image of me as you see me." But this woman was no painter. She couldn't paint anything like this, so she just documented everything that she saw and hoped and prayed for the best that she would find this painter that would actually help her paint this. After that night, she just kind of put it aside and tried to forget it to the best of her abilities. Very soon after, she would start seeing this figure everywhere she went. She was with the other women that lived in that same complex, and she would start to see him out of the corner of her eye. And every time he appeared, he would repeat the words, "How long are you going to keep me waiting?" She looks to the right, she turns around, "How long are you going to keep me waiting?" Eventually, she just can't escape this any longer. She runs to the nearest artist that she knows, but nobody could paint this figure exactly as she remembered him. So after a few painters and a lot of different depictions, they came up with what is now probably the most accurate depiction and what is recognized as the real image of Jesus by many in the church. Because this figure that was coming to her very supernaturally was actually Jesus Christ. And this woman, Helena Kowalska, actually was canonized as a saint, and you may know her better as Sister Faustina, who painted the most popular image of Jesus that we now have, called the Divine Mercy.
They just found artifacts in Germany in caves that are 40,000 years old with written language on them. They're 38 to 40,000 years old. So now the first ever written language has been dated at 38 to 40,000 years old. In Germany, no less. So do you understand the implications of that? That if that is true, that completely destroys our fabricated version of reality. And there's a lot of other things too. I think that the complete narrative that we've been given about it.
Yeah, this was posted the 24th of February.
Yeah, 2 days ago.
40,000-year-old German artifacts may display written language.
Yeah, I just saw it last night, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. Guess what else? There's another viral thing coming out right now about Egypt and the pyramids. Now, scientists are suggesting, get this, you ready? That some former precursor advanced civilization from 20 to 30,000 years ago built them. But the official narrative is they're somewhere around 12,000 years old. So the new knowledge is, I say new, but you know, in the grand scheme of eternity, there is no time. So new and old are relative. So the new knowledge is returning to the world.
First stage of Project Blue Beam.
Folks, they actually found Lot's wife from the Bible. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but I think she may have been a giant. And I'm not talking a 7 or 8 foot giant. I'm talking a 15 to 20 foot giant. Before you call me crazy and scroll, wait to see this pillar of salt that they say looks like a woman in agony. For those that don't know the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, basically in the Bible, God struck down the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah because their citizens had become entirely wicked. He approached Abraham to share the news, but Abraham pleaded with God that if he could find at least 10 good citizens, would you spare the city?
Will you then sweep away the righteous with the wicked? What if there are 50 righteous people in the city?
I will not destroy it for the sake of the 50.
So God sent 2 angels into Sodom and Gomorrah, and they didn't find even 10 good citizens. The rest were wicked, except for Abraham's nephew, Lot, his wife, and his 2 daughters. They invited the angels in, gave them shelter, and hid them from the crowd outside who wanted them handed over so they could have their way with them, because they were newcomers. The citizens of Sodom and Gomorrah were known to treat newcomers this way, but in ancient times, it was sacred to always be welcoming to newcomers that came to your city. As a result, God scheduled the destruction of the city. He was going to rain hellfire down on it, but he agreed to spare Lot and his family. So the angels led them out of the city and told them to go, but don't look back. So as they were fleeing, God sent hellfire down on Sodom and Gomorrah. But going against the warnings from the angels, Lot's wife turns and looks at the city one last time. And as a result, she's immediately turned into a pillar of salt. For years, this was thought to be a fake story or a metaphor, until recently. A group of university students were studying Mount Sodom, and they found evidence that maybe there was a great catastrophe there. And while studying there, they noticed a large pillar on the southeast side of the Dead Sea. So they sent a drone up to it to get a closer look at it, and they were astonished. They saw that it looked like a woman had been frozen in time in distress. But before getting too hasty, they had to study it closer. So they got up to where it was and started taking samples. These samples led them to believe that it in fact is a possibility that it is Lot's wife. And in looking at the pictures, I have reason to believe that she may have been a giant. Because look at the people standing next to the pillar of salt. It dwarfs them. It is absolutely massive.
Praise the Lord.
What if the greatest ruler of an ancient empire wasn't a king? In 2006, archaeologists uncovered a royal Moche tomb in Peru's Chicama Valley. Inside, war clubs, crowns, gold, weapons. For 20 years, every tomb like this was assumed to be male. Then they found her. She was a woman, approximately 25 years old, tattooed with serpents and spiders on both forearms, the marks of divine authority in Moche culture, the right to perform the sacrifice ceremony, the right to hold the goblet with the blood of prisoners, the right to stand at the top of the pyramid while thousands watched below. She had ruled the northern coast of Peru around 450 CE, 600 years before the Inca Empire existed. Her civilization buried her exactly as they buried their greatest rulers, because that is what she was. We called her the Lady of Cow. She had been lying there, correctly labeled by her own people, for 1,500 years. We were the ones who weren't ready to see her. Books to watch. Subscribe for more untold history.
He's alive. That's in the files. It's in the files that he's alive. Find the one about the ski chalet in Colorado that Jeffrey was living in. There's like a few. There's the prostate thing where like he had.
Oh yeah, the prostate thing was insane. He had some sort of an evaluation done with a doctor, asking him questions about his blood work. He's like, I don't have a prostate. Did he get it removed or what?
Yeah, probably.
Basically, there's emails that show that he didn't have a prostate. Proof that he said in an email he didn't have a prostate. And then in the actual autopsy report, they claimed they examined his prostate, said it was normal.
He had a great prostate.
He had a great prostate.
Dan Cooper, who's the source of this info, says he also has it independently discovered. Dan Cooper, katana wielding, time traveling, whatever. And the fifth one supposedly, according to this SSP katana wielding dude, is my dad, to independently discover anti-gravity. And this dude, this katana wielding dude, made a really big deal about, he was like, okay, listen to me. It's been independently discovered 4 other times. He said it has been suppressed every single fucking time. And he said, I don't think they're going to suppress it this time. He said, I think you're in the clear. He said, they obviously know about you because I've had multiple, both protective and threatening interactions with various agency affiliations, whatever. He was like, if you haven't had a U.S. government agent come to you and say, Stop. Shut the fuck up. Stop. Shut the. If that hasn't happened, they're going to let you do it.
Really?
They're going to let you do it this time. He said it's been suppressed every other time. This time, they're waiting for someone to publish. They're ready. They're waiting. There are SSP motherfuckers that are fucking twiddling their thumbs. Like, is Amy not going to publish soon? Gah, we've been influencing this bitch forever. Doesn't she know we want her to publish? Jesus. Like, there's multiple people doing that right now. And on the other side of the fence, there's multiple parties looking at each other like, didn't we tell this bitch 3 years ago that we kill people for this? Is she not listening? What is she doing? She's still doing it? What? We told her we were going to kill her 3 years ago. So I have these two different scenarios floating constantly in my life where I have people being like, do it, do it, do it. You're the one, do it. And then I have multiple people being like, they're going to kill you. Don't do it. They're going to kill you. I have like multiple of these whispers in my ears. I can't even describe it. It's crazy. And then I even have the people that are like, this happens too. They're like, they kill people for this, right? And then they're like, because you're a young woman, they're going to rape you before they kill you too. And I have people digging through my panty drawer, breaking into my apartment, digging through my panty drawer so that I notice. Like, I have crazy fucking threats going on right now. It's stressing me out. It's stressing me out, dude. I'm stressed.
Jeremy.
Wow. Are only USA scientists going missing? This isn't happening anywhere else. Why?
What if the end of the world isn't a disaster, but a digital stage play? Serge Monis died after leaking NASA's most terrifying secret. This is Project Bluebeam, and the final curtain is about to rise. It begins with Step 1, Archaeological Reevaluation. Monist claimed NASA and the UN would use engineered earthquakes at specific points across the globe to discover fabricated artifacts. These fakes would be used to prove that every major religious doctrine has been misunderstood for thousands of years, effectively destroying the credibility of all existing faiths. Then comes Step 2, the gigantic space show. Imagine the entire sky becoming a screen. Using space-based satellites, they will project massive three-dimensional holograms customized to every region. Whether it's Jesus, Muhammad, or Buddha, these figures will eventually merge into one new age god who speaks every language at once, signaling the end of old religions. Step 3 is where it gets personal. It's called two-way electronic communication. Using low-frequency and ELF waves, they will beam thoughts directly into your mind. You won't hear it through your ears. You'll hear it in your head. Every individual will believe their own God is speaking to them personally, demanding their absolute surrender to the new world system. Finally, Step 4, the supernatural manifestations. This is a three-pronged psychological attack. First, a fake alien invasion to force nations into a panic. Second, a simulated rapture to trick believers. And third, the use of high-frequency waves to drive the population into a state of mass hysteria. In the chaos, the New World Order steps in as the savior. Every human is microchipped.
I don't know.
I want to tell the British people that in Germany, nobody at the time knows where the 6 million Jews were killed by the Germans. They all know that this still is the most terrible crime that ever happened in history, done by the Germans. But if you have such a big crime and can't tell us where it happened, it doesn't have any place, then this can't be a real fact. Because every crime where you killed just one, but even 6 millions, must have a place where it happened. But I myself have asked all the institutes that could know it, even the Center of the Jews in Germany, and all the judges and so on, but nobody could tell me and answer me within 5 years. And after 5 years, questioning all over the Bundesrepublik, I told the Minister for Justice if he now could arrange an open discussion where it happened. I got no answer even from him. From all the others, I even got any answer. Never. Not one group or institute or minister or lawyer did answer my question. So I wrote the Minister of Justice. I must take it as a truth that you didn't answer, and therefore I suppose you don't have an answer. But if you don't have an answer, my conclusion is that then the Holocaust didn't exist. And I shall publish this in the internet. And I waited for about 3 or 4 weeks. Even then I didn't get an answer. And so I wrote into the internet, the Holocaust didn't exist. And I gave all the examples, what I had done to find it out. And nothing happened. Now already 2.5 months. So I am quite convinced now, and tell it to everybody, that this biggest crime didn't happen because there was no place where it took place. So it's quite simple that now everybody who has been charged or even put into prison because he had denied the Holocaust, and there are hundreds in Germany that had to suffer such a punishment, that now they all must be,
This sounds crazy. A lot of Nazi generals being punished because of the Holocaust.
Did you know a woman came out of hiding just to be martyred for her faith? In 17th century Japan, Saint Magdalene of Nagasaki lived during one of history's most brutal persecutions of Christians. The government had banned Christianity completely, forcing believers to practice their faith in secret or face terrible punishment. Many Christians went into hiding, meeting in caves and homes under cover of darkness. They disguised their crosses and whispered their prayers. But
It's still happening in China.
Magdalene made a different choice. Instead of staying hidden, she boldly walked into the public square and declared her Christian faith for everyone to hear. According to historical accounts, she presented herself directly to the authorities, knowing exactly what would happen. The officials arrested her immediately and demanded she renounce Christianity to save her life. They threatened her with torture and death, but Magdalene refused to deny her Lord. She was executed for her unwavering faith, showing incredible courage in the face of certain death. Her witness inspired countless others to remain faithful even during the darkest persecution. St. Magdalene's feast day is October 20th. She is the patron saint of tertiaries and all who suffer persecution for their beliefs.
So is it Satan? No, it's Baphomet, not Satan. He's basically a figure that is designed by
He got boobs.
Levi in the 19th century to represent a very old Gnostic mystery that is tied into Hermeticism, representing faith and science united and opening the flaming door of Gnosis. Many mysteries worth exploring and getting to know who the real Baphomet is. Come and check out our Vision Quest tomorrow night at the Green Man store and have a one-on-one encounter with the Dark Lord himself. Yeah.
No thanks.
Bye.
Man, you lost her. He's a transgender, by the way.
What you're looking at right here is carved from a single block of Carrara marble, and it took one man, Francesco Chirolo, 7 years to complete it. The sculpture is called Release from Deception, and yes, that net is also marble. There's no glue, no supports, no separate pieces. The entire thing, including the impossibly delicate fishing net draped over the figure, was chiseled from one solid stone. To pull this off, Chirolo had to undercut each strand of the net by hand, carving out the negative space without snapping the fragile lattice work. This piece was made in the 1750s, so it is all hammer and chisel, tiny rock chip by tiny rock chip. He didn't even trust his assistants to help him with it. If one thread cracked, the whole block would be ruined. The result is one of the most technically insane marble sculptures that has ever been made. To pull this off, Francesco Chirolo.
I love this one and the failed woman. Is this level of mastery lost to history?
Freemasonry generally is a white brotherhood, but co-masonry accommodates females and black people. So, to the uninitiated, it seems as if the white race is supreme. Once you get to the higher initiates, there is a different story, and Nimrod was worshipped as black or white. This is Prince Hall Freemasonry. This is black Freemasonry. And Very often the Masons themselves do not know about all these sub-organizations. So if you go up the ranks of Prince Hall Freemasonry, then you will find Knights Templars up there, for example. Knight Templar, well, that tells you something, right? So they really use these names. This is their own page, so this is not something that has been thought up. And the very, very highest individuals in the black world, for example, are Prince Hall Freemasons. Might I mention a name, Nelson Mandela, if you're interested? This is what they look like. So there's no such thing as it just being a white brotherhood, although each one of the groups is individually often non-informed. This is the levels. These are the levels in Freemasonry, and we can fill them in. The actual levels vary according to the source. This one here is as it was revealed by Ayn Rand, who was the girlfriend of Philip Rothschild. She committed suicide. Humanism is the lowest level. Masons, no aprons. The YMCA, the whole Scout movement out there, etc., forms part of Masonic organizations. Rotary, the Lions, the Oddfellows, well, you have them right next door. The Lions, of course, use the two-headed lion, the Tsianus, the two-headed one, all those symbols. And these are all good organizations that appear to do very good things. Blue Masons, that's John's Masons. They have the name John again. Get very nervous when you hear it. York Rite, Scottish Rite, Communism, B'nai B'rith, Jewish Masonry, Council of 500, Council of 33, Council of 500, also known as the Bilderbergers, if you like, the Council of 13. And at the highest level, we saw that the papacy is involved because the Jesuits control all of them.
I mean, causes 72 hours of profound brain plasticity. So that if you're going to be doing some resetting of old patterns, you might as well have a brain that's ready to receive a reset with less work. And so ketamine, DMT, LSD, and psilocybin work. I'm even an investor in Paul Stamets' company, where he said, well, what happens if you stack lion's mane and psilocybin and a B vitamin called niacin that causes vasodilation?
Yes.
Well, he's showing whole brain nerve regeneration. Right now, lion's mane and all the other ones, they only do hippocampal regeneration. So he's fixing things that are brain injuries and things like that. And if you stack that with hyperbaric, and I've got a hard-sided OxyHealth chamber, the medical grade one downstairs, that also will regrow.
Your dad, when he snuck into, he snuck into Bohemian Grove, did he tell you anything about that growing up?
I've watched the documentary with him before, and everything like that's classic. That's what put him on the map.
For sure.
Just get started. I mean, he snuck in there basically just by walking in there and hiding under a house, and they thought that he was a male prostitute. So that's
whoa.
Yeah. The good old boys were trying to get handsy and stuff.
Protect
that's why I was able
cakes.
To get through. It's because they thought he was cute. That's how he was able to get in. So I mean, he exposed that, and they burn an effigy of a child supposedly, but they burn a wooden child to this giant owl god, and they go, it's a social club. That don't look like no social club I've ever been a part of. Hell no.
And then they just released some of the names recently that was at the Bohemian Grove. So
really?
Yeah, so they had Conan O'Brien. They had a bunch of other people.
Yeah. CEOs and execs on there.
And everyone knows what it's about, so they're cool with it. They're cool with it. Like Mark Twain set that thing up, and then it went sideways. That used to be a place for the artists, the poets, the writers to go be degens, to go do drugs and fuck each other.
Freak boy stuff.
Yeah, way back in the day.
Oh, that's what.
Benjamin Franklin was in the Hellfire Club, right? And he would dress up as a priest, and women would dress up as nuns, and they would all mess each other up in caves.
The Hellfire Club.
Yeah, it's all real history. You want to know real history about the country?
Wow.
No, the cool shit is comic books. Do you know the Hellfire Club?
Yeah,
who is that?
Sure. X-Men, yep, of course.
The White Queen was the head of the Hellfire Club.
Oh shit! Really?
Yep, Emma Frost.
Yeah.
It's always in the movies.
It's always in the movies, media.
It's always in the games. It's always in the comics.
Yeah,
it's always in there.
I'm tired of this shit being real.
Truth in plain sight.
Y'all, he's actually dead. I confirmed it myself with police reports. And they're saying that the death was by self-unaliving. Don't comment on this video saying I'm wrong because the mainstream media hasn't reported it yet. Let me start to tell you guys how weird this is and why you should maybe know who it is. So he just did a live stream 2 days ago and was in very great health and very energetic. And it was 10, 11 a.m. that they get a call and they find him and the thing that he used to take his own life. This is where it gets weird. So David Wilcock is known for a lot of different conspiracy type situations. He was on Ancient Aliens years and years ago, even till recently. But when he left Ancient, he was doing seminars by himself and talking about very, very crazy things like Looking Glass and other 3-letter agency activities. He also warned of something in the very near future coming, a great deception, you could say. Now, this information first leaked by people that were close to him, made it to Reddit, and now all sorts of sites, and I was able to find that exact police report. Now, disclaimer, I didn't agree with everything he says, but it's really hard to find someone where you can agree with everything they say. But one thing was sure, the path that he was on was he was going against everything right now that they are putting so much money behind to get us to believe. I mean, he even did this live talking about, is that guy the Antichrist? But look, the biggest thing is he had been in that game. There are probably NDAs that he had, and he started calling out everything for psyops the way that they actually are. With this big push for alien disclosure, it wouldn't surprise me if he came out and said exactly the way things are and what kind of entities are really ruling the earth. Miraculous sleep, feeling great, energized to self-unaliving. I don't buy it. Do you?
Wow, this government is out of control.
Gnomes don't roam the world. They are the world beneath your feet. Silent, patient, and far older than anything above them. Gnomes are tied to the element of earth. Their origin comes from Renaissance Academy via Paracelsus. They're associated with underground caves, mines, forest floors, and of course mountains and stone, existing wherever the earth is untouched, hidden, or deep. Gnomes are typically depicted as small humanoid beings, some of them having earth-toned gray, brown, or mossy skin, having stocky or sturdy builds. They have long beards in many interpretations, and they tend to wear natural or human-like clothing. Gnomes are part of the elemental system described by Paracelsus. Sylphs represent air, salamanders fire, undines water, and gnomes represent earth. Unlike the other elementals, the gnomes are described as more physical, structured, and connected to material things like metals and crystals. They're not just spirits, they're keepers of the physical world. Gnomes represent earth, foundation, stability, and hidden wealth, guarding underground treasures, maintaining balance within the earth, and remaining hidden from surface life. They don't seek attention, they aim to preserve what already exists. They can move through the ground, minor control over earth and stone, and are capable of long lifespans, though they're not fast or agile, and they prefer isolation over conflict. In modern media, they're portrayed in Romeo and Juliet, and are depicted in World of Warcraft. Gnomes don't rise to power. They endure because long after everything else falls, the earth remains. If you want to learn about more earth elementals, follow for more, and comment what mythical creatures or beings you want me to share next.
For 3,000 years, the Canaanites worshipped Moloch in the desert. Mass gatherings, fire, rhythmic percussion, ecstatic dance. Children passed through the flame as offering. The Bible calls it the Valley of Hinnom. The god they summoned demanded a crowd. Every April in California, 250,000 people gather in a desert valley on the 33rd parallel. Same structure, same length, 3 days, just like the original. Same frequency, 140 beats per minute, proven to induce trance. Same iconography, pyramid stages, all-seeing eyes, goat horns, inverted imagery burned into every performance. The priests called it summoning. Modern science calls it neural entrainment. Brain waves synchronize across thousands of people. The individual dissolves. The crowd becomes one signal. The Canaanites didn't have the science, they had the technique. They knew what frequencies open doors, what walks through when 200,000 bodies move as one.
Repent and accept Lord Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior before it's too late.
Movie Stargate may have been based on true events and a real story. What if they lied about the weapons? Maybe it was never weapons of mass destruction, as we perceive them, but a Stargate. Everyone remembers the phrase weapons of mass destruction. We're going into Iraq for weapons of mass destruction. They repeated it so many times it sounded like a spell. And at a certain point, the world accepted it. But what if that was never the real target, and the mission was never about bombs, missiles, chemicals? None of that at all. What if the real objective was hidden under the sands of Iraq? Now, Saddam Hussein, he was convinced to be the reincarnation of Nebuchadnezzar. He was an ancient Mesopotamian king, but half hybrid, half alien of Anunnaki descent. The bloodlines of the kings tied to the ancient Anunnaki. Iraq was never just modern territory. It was the heartland of Mesopotamia, of ancient Sumer, the cradle of civilization and the birthplace of all of the Anunnaki history. Right after this world event of not finding the weapons of mass destruction, but raiding artifacts and museums, and let's not talk about the Tomb of Gilgamesh that was also mentioned in the alleged Hillary Clinton emails. What happened after that? After that, Hollywood dropped the movie Stargate, where this ancient device opened portals across worlds. And even in the movie, the Stargate itself functioned like a weapon of mass destruction. Because if a powerful Anunnaki army could step out of it, instantly humanity would be defenseless. Then a few years later comes Stargate, the TV series, SG-1, and they're expanding the same idea. They show the hidden gates, ancient beings, secret military programs, and lost knowledge. Coincidence or self-disclosure? Now, in the movie, the head of the extraterrestrials was Ra. I find some truth in that. And he himself can be considered a weapon of mass destruction. In the movie, the United States has this plot where this entity, this extraterrestrial god, seemingly a god, could come back to Earth through this portal. I believe the weapon of mass destruction was the return of these ancient gods. So when we're talking about Stargate and Ra as the deity that was in the movie featured, we could actually make this Anunnaki connection right here, because Ra was the bloodline of Enki, and it...
What if Hitler was looking for same thing?
Just because someone says they love God doesn't mean they're talking about the same one you are. Check it out.
The Bible describes God's own people sacrificing their children to a pagan god just right outside Jerusalem's walls. Molech was one of the most terrifying false gods in the ancient world. His name comes from the Hebrew word for king, and his worshippers treated him like one. They believed that if you gave Molech your most valuable possession, he would bless you and secure your future. His price was your child. His statue was bronze, a man's body with a bull's head, arms stretched over a furnace burning inside its chest. When parents brought their children forward, priests placed them into those burning arms, and when the screaming began, drums beat loudly so the parents wouldn't hear what they had done. God warned Israel from the beginning, yet King Ahaz fell into it. King Manasseh sacrificed his own son. Even Solomon built Molech a shrine on the Mount of Olives. The place where it all happened was called the Valley of Hinnom, the same valley Jesus later used as his image for hell. That was not a coincidence. Baal. Of all the false gods that ever competed for Israel's worship, none was more persistent, more seductive, or more dangerous than Baal. Baal was the supreme god of the Canaanites, lord of storms, rain, and fertility. And in an agricultural world where your harvest determined whether your family lived or starved, a god who controlled the rain was impossible to ignore. That's what made him so appealing. He wasn't just a religious choice, he felt like a survival strategy.
This is why I say
but
I
his
serve
worship came at a
Christ.
horrifying cost.
No confusion.
Ritual prostitution at his temples, frenzied self-harm by his priests, and when times got desperate enough, human sacrifice. Firstborn children, offered to keep the storms coming. Israel knew better.
These are the gods our
God had warned them
politicians
repeatedly.
serve.
And yet, from the book of Judges all the way through the Kings, they
They're
kept
demons.
going back to Baal, over and over again. Until the day Elijah stood on Mount Carmel, called down fire from heaven, and proved before all of Israel that Baal was never a god at all. He was silent the whole time. Beelzebub. Of all the false gods in Scripture, none had a more remarkable transformation than the one that started as a local fly god and ended up as another name for Satan himself. Beelzebub began as Baal-zebub, the god of the Philistine city of Ekron. His name meant Lord of the Flies, and he was worshipped as a deity who could control disease and plague. But here's what most people don't know. His original name was likely Baal-zebul, meaning Lord of the High Place, a title of genuine power and status. The Israelites deliberately changed it to Zebub, flies, as an insult, essentially calling him Lord of Filth. Then came the moment that sealed his legacy forever. The Pharisees watched Jesus cast out demons
All these
and
gods make
accused him of
sense
doing it
with
through
Epstein,
the power
huh?
of Beelzebub, the prince of demons.
Child
They saw the Holy
sacrifice.
Spirit working miracles in front of their eyes and called it demonic.
Friends, this is why Christ says to know them by their fruits, okay? This is how we understand and overcome. We're not going to be deceived by these demon worshipers anymore. Much love, God bless, and keep
Amen.
holding on to truth.
Oh, by the way, it's called Planned Parenthood now.
Have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them.
The idea that your local Freemason lodge is running the world is a low IQ conspiracy theory. If we were to construct a true secret society iceberg, Freemasonry wouldn't even pierce the water. At your average state college, you will find way more powerful fraternities, with big social networks and alumni connections. Next, it gets actually secretive in the initiatory sense. The SRIA, the OTO, the original Victorian-era Golden Dawn. Next, you will find your Harvard Finals Clubs. These are Ivy League secret societies where you might find your next senator or official ambassador. Then we have the Yale secret societies like Scroll and Key and the famous Skull and Bones, where you might find the next president. Finally, you have your ancient and royal orders, like the Knights of Malta. And at the very bottom, the royal orders, like the Order of the Garter and the Order of the Golden Fleece, where you will find kings and emperors.
Feed them through the plate and watch what happens. The sand finds the nose, drawing the harmonic blueprint.
Okay. You're saying they're brainwashing. Okay, you're saying these people that are experts in brainwashing is using the Department of Education to brainwash our children.
Yes.
What are they after? Why are they doing it?
Well, if you want to move a country from a free individualistic economy,
which we have.
Yes, or had.
Or had, okay.
To a planned economy, you have to do it through the schools. You have to dumb down and brainwash, change the attitudes and values. You have to completely, social engineering has to go on constantly. And many teachers know what I'm talking about. And people are going to say, well, when did this start? And who on earth ever did this? Why would a plan like that be allowed to be carried out?
That's right.
Well, then you have to go back to 1934, which I will do, and we have to go to the three-pronged fork, okay? So I do think that the watershed year, although you can go back to the early part of the century when the Rockefeller Foundation and the Carnegie Corporation were deeply involved in education, and that it was decided then that Carnegie would deal with the international part and Rockefeller domestic. So they commissioned the American Historical Association to put together a study of the social studies, and they came up with lots of volumes, but I have one little volume, Conclusions and Recommendations for the Social Studies. And basically that little one is an original book. I wish I'd brought it with me. Too bad. But I don't even dare let it out of the house. It's so important. It called for change.
Okay. You're saying they're brainwashing. Okay. You're saying these people that are experts in brainwashing is using the Department of Education to brainwash our children.
Yes.
What are they after? Why are they doing it?
Well, if you want to move a country from a free individualistic economy,
which we have.
Yes, or had.
Or had, okay.
To a planned economy, you have to do it through the schools. You have to dumb down and brainwash, change the attitudes and values. You have to completely, social engineering has to go on constantly. And many teachers know what I'm talking about. And people are going to say, well, when did this start? And who on earth ever did this? Why?
Is cannibalism part of the ritual?
The children have spoken about this in almost every instance. Also, human feces, or drinking the urine, or drinking human blood.
That's part of the ritual.
Right.
I have an old 3-inch scar here on my wrist where my friends used to cut me.
Yet the tales that were told to us in interviews conducted across the country were later verified by authorities, who say there are consistent telltale clues. And they provide a checklist of 6 satanic practices to look for. For example, being placed inside a coffin. It's an experience that many children are describing.
Well, the adults would dig up the caskets from the graveyards, and all the members, including the children, were made to lay in the remains of whatever was in the casket.
Get in a casket with a decomposed body.
Right. And then the casket was closed, and they would be lowered into the ground.
is one of the primary focuses of these people is death.
Another indicator, satanic paraphernalia. In every case, the children talk about precisely the same setting.
They described a satanic goat's head being on the wall over the table. They described a lot of candles. And they describe...
Always mean anything? Yeah, the red ones would be used for some types of sexual rituals, people who are doing sexual magic. This would be used for ordinary ceremonies and also for ceremonies where you'd be throwing a curse on somebody.
Another indicator, kidnapping. In almost every case, the children have talked about children who were snatched and later sacrificed.
They were taught to aid in the kidnapping of children. What they would do is the kids would go and play with the children and then tell them that they were either going to go to a party or that there was some toys or whatever and get them so they weren't on the move, and then her father and other members would grab the kids.
Sir, I question 2 million children missing in the United States, knowing that many of those are not runaways and are so young that they couldn't run away anyway.
Number 4, sexual abuse aimed at destroying faith in God. It
seems to go hand in hand. The belief system within a child, to make a child turn against what they believe in terms of who they are, of who God is, and to desecrate all manner of flesh, all manner of church institution, all manner of sign and symbol that a child could in any way be attached to.
Cannibalism. It's difficult to believe, but in every case we examined, children described it.
The hearts were cut out.
Oh.
And the children were made to chew pieces of these children's hearts, pieces of their flesh.
They live amongst us and rule the planet.
Before we get into Syracuse, New York and its infrastructure that needs to be looked at again, we got to start from the beginning. You know how I love to do this. The progression of these cities is everything in this research, and Syracuse is quite interesting. And starts like a lot of these cities, okay? They just couldn't pick a name. From 1780 to 1817, it was Salt Point, Webster's Landing, Bogardus Corners, Milan, South Salina, Cosfitz Corner, and finally they picked Corinth. Finally, they had one and went to get an application to have a post office, and they realized a couple counties over, there was already a Corinth. So a gentleman heard about Syracuse, Sicily, and there it was. And during those hard times, when Syracuse was trying to find itself, a traveler went through the area and said, it's unattractive, no better than other country villages in those days. Wooden buildings largely predominant. The land was underwater for much of the year, making Syracuse resemble a swamp. You know what they say back in the day, when it's a swamp, you build a canal through it. The Erie Canal. That's what happened. Soon after that traveler went through, the Erie Canal was started to be constructed and went straight through Syracuse. And actually in Syracuse, there's a couple aqueducts that made the Erie Canal go over natural rivers. Yes, the Erie Canal was elevated going through Syracuse, and actually in 1907, one of those stone culverts, the arch at the bottom, popped and 5 boats got sucked in. And not long after the canal was built through Syracuse, here comes the railroad. But they had a problem. They kept running into the canal. So they didn't go over it. They went under it. They built a tunnel in 1840 for the railroad. Now, you know what these narratives say now, right? Because of the railroad and because of the canal infrastructure, there was so much traffic, so much business, so many people coming through. It explains this. Now, I'm going to have to beg to differ on that, because if you think that this was built in 1876 just to be called the Syracuse Savings Bank Building, well, then it's just a bank, I guess. The elegant Gridley Building was built in the late 1860s in 2 years, but it wasn't always called the Gridley Building. It was called the Onondaga County Savings Bank Building. And if you didn't know, Onondaga is the county that Syracuse is in. And this is one of their first courthouses. In 1850 to 1851, it was built, but they kept growing. So the courthouse needed to. And boy, did it grow. 1904 to 1907, 2-year build, $1.5 million. The architect, his name is Archimedes Russell. I didn't think Archimedes, me neither. Listen to this one. The City Hall, its front door was originally facing the canal. Now, I don't think I'd build a City Hall that way. It kind of sounds like this was something else at one point. Now, I got some more homework for you, but look into the churches in Syracuse. And what originally got me looking into the town is Syracuse University. This is their 1870s building, and it was an interesting campus. There even was a castle on the campus, but it still has some traces of the old world. Love y'all. And have
very nice clip.
There are ancient legends that talk about a moonless sky, and when the moon arrived, it caused a great flood.
What are the ancient stories of a moonless sky? Where are they from?
Ancient Indian texts will have it, but also native legends will have it. The earth was apparently just covered in this haze, very wet, very hazy. Then the moon arrives, and all that water from the atmosphere drops down to earth. The tidal forces are crazy. There's a huge flood, and everything just settles, and then the moon is here. And the moon is now like the guardian of the planet.
I heard Moon is a space station.